How long have we known about climate change, and when did it start to become a problem? My answer might surprise you. Scientists have known since the 1850s that digging up and burning coal back then, and of course natural gas and oil today, produce heat-trapping gases that are building up in the atmosphere, wrapping an extra blanket around the planet, causing it to warm. John Tyndall, an Irish scientist, and Eunice Foote, an American scientist, in the 1850s were both looking at the heat-trapping properties of carbon dioxide and methane, two of the most powerful gases causing climate change today. In fact, Eunice conducted experiments in her backyard in upstate New York in the 1850s, showing that if we had more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, the planet would be warmer. She even recorded data that modern-day scientists have been able to use to estimate how much warmer the planet would get if we doubled or tripled levels of CO2 in the atmosphere. By the 1890s, we knew enough about the physics of the atmosphere that Nobel Prize-winning chemist Svante Arrhenius was able to, in his spare time, because that's what scientists do in our spare time, create the first climate model that he calculated by hand. It took him 2 years to calculate how much each different latitude band of the Earth would warm, depending on whether we increased carbon pollution levels by 50% or doubled it or tripled it. And today, his numbers are still close on to the most powerful and sophisticated computer models that we have. By the 1930s, British engineer Guy Callendar was able to ride around the world and collect weather station data that showed that the planet was already warming as a result of human emissions of what he called carbonic acid, what we call carbon dioxide today, from burning fossil fuels. And by the 1960s, scientists were so worried about the potential impacts of climate change on human society that they took the unprecedented step of formally warning a US president of the risks of continuing to depend on coal, gas, and oil to power our society. That president was Lyndon B. Johnson. But when did climate change move from the future issue that scientists had been warning about for over a century to a present issue? That didn't happen until the late 80s, early 90s. In the 1980s and 1990s, to be clear. That was when we finally started to feel the heat that scientists have been warning about for so long. That is when climate change went from a future issue that we didn't have to address right now, everybody thought, to a present issue that was starting to impact our lives. NASA scientist Jim Hansen testifying to Congress in 1988 saying, yes, this is real. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released its first report in 1990. By 1992, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change was signed, leading to the now annual climate meetings that occur in late fall every year. So we've known about climate change for a very long time, but it's only the past 30 years or so that we've started to experience the impacts. But these impacts are growing. They're getting worse every year, and today, there's not a person around the world whose life has been untouched by climate change. It's real, it's us, it's serious, and the time to act is now.